You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCSports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Oh man! Well, it looked like the Lucha Dragons were about to win, but luckily no one crowned them the champions before the match ended, and then had to reverse the decision.
Oh no, that would have been awful.
Dude, I seriously part of me feels for Steve Harvey. Just because just what we've done. We've said stuff that was wrong before.
Yeah.
Where you literally know there are 10 people watching us and we're like, oh god, that's so embarrassing. Yeah. Can you imagine literally people screw? And all we're is yeah, didn't that happen in 2007? No, it happened in 2009. Oh, our bad.
Whoops.
This guy blew the biggest pageant in the world.
Yeah.
In front of millions of people. And then oh god. How about poor Miss Columbia? Poor, homely Miss Columbia, who her life will never be good again, probably.
No, she'll never be anything.
Golly, no guy will ever want to date second place. God, you only imagine.
Nobody remembers second place Miss Universe.
They will remember this one, I do believe, though.
Oh, yeah, probably.
She has become the one to remember. But, this poor girl sat there for 45 seconds thinking she had, achieved her biggest life dream.
Yep.
And then Steve Harvey, my bad. There's been a mistake. That girl's like, oh, fuck. No, there's been no mistake. No, Steve Harvey might end up with some burning tires wrapped around him for Christmas. You don't fuck with Colombia, man.
Yes.
You don't mess with those Colombians, man.
Oh.
Just ask Andres Escobar.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
It's still not too soon.
94 was a long time ago.
It was. It's true. It really was.
A long time ago.
You know, it wasn't a long time ago.
What would that be it?
The last time we did a Foreign Affair podcast, because we're recording this a day early.
God, you're not kidding, we are.
Oh, welcome everyone to episode 86. It's the Christmas cast here on the Foreign Affair podcast. I have a nice cup of eggnog here beside me. I'm Edward Green here, joined as always by my colleague Wes Bradshaw. We're going to bring you an epic weekend in the Barclays Premier League. We're going to break it all down for you. We got plenty more to talk about, though. A lot of news and notes in the managerial world, as we know. Literally 5 hours maybe after our last podcast finished recording, Jose Mourinho was sacked by Chelsea. So we'll talk about the fallout from there, who they're looking at as their replacement to come in probably for the next match this coming weekend, and so much more. We'll also have our other big story of the week, which is not actually really another big story, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And of course, we'll end the show with Watch For and So Raw. And this podcast is presented to you by NGSC Sports and NGSCSports.com, where we never stop. Check them out on Twitter at NGSC Sports. Check us out at AFA Pod, at Wes Bradshaw 21, and myself at Edward Green. You can find our sister show, the All New Sports Show, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can find both of our sites on Periscope. You can email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Finally, mail us your letters and parcels. And yeah, at this point, we're going to call New Year's gifts to 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. I hear champagne does not usually travel well. Wes, how's it going?
Well, real quick, what day are we going to drop this pod?
This will be Thursday. Still Thursday, Christmas Eve.
Okay. So, we can go ahead and apologize in advance because, as you folks have now learned, everything important happens on Thursday morning.
Yes.
It is the most important day of the week in everything that we cover. And of course, we do a show usually on Wednesday night. So this being Tuesday night, we're way damn behind.
Yes. Yep.
So sorry in advance.
Oh man, the amount of stuff that's going to happen on Wednesday this week is going to be. I literally would not be surprised if we just found out. Oh, by the way, Louis Van Gaal, he's no longer the coach at United.
Apparently, he's got one match,
which is insane to me. But it wouldn't be the first insane thing that's happened this year. So who knows? Excuse me. Well, let us start then in the Barclays Premier League, which we've just been talking about, as we wrap up this past weekend and then look forward to the busy holiday period that will be coming upon us. Here are, though, your results from this past weekend in the Barclays Premier League. On Saturday, a slew of matches led by Everton, Leicester City. It was Shinji Okazaki who earned a rainy penalty at Goodison Park, which was taken by very informed Rudy Mahrez to give the Foxes of Leicester a 1-goal lead. Minutes later, though, Romelu Lukaku scored in his 8th straight game to level things up before halftime. Jamie Vardy, the legend, continues to grow, but it may have taken a bit of a detour. He won a penalty off a foul from Tim Howard, but he may have picked up a bit of a knock in the process. He did come off before the end of the match. Rudy Mahrez took the penalty, though. Okazaki added a third shortly after to put Leicester up 3-1. Kevin Morales got back as a substitute. 1 goal for Everton to make it 3-2 minutes from time, but it wasn't enough as it ended Leicester 3, Everton 2, West Bradshaw. At the end of our Christmas period here, Leicester City is leading the Barclays Premier League.
As everyone predicted before the season started, myself most of all.
We did.
Totally. That can be found. Unfortunately, I think we lost that episode of the preseason. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, everything is going exactly according to plan the way we thought it would.
Everything else is fine. What do you take from this, though, Wes? A gritty win for Leicester, again on the road, going to a pretty darn good Everton team, and coming back, with Jamie Vardy really not able to go the whole way, Leicester still finds a way to win.
Mahrez is in a fantastic run of form right now for Leicester. Yes, he and Vardy are just completely feeding off of each other. But, you see with Mahrez, even if Vardy's not at his best, Mahrez is still good enough and enough quality to be able to help carry that Leicester squad. A lot of credit. Goodison's a tough place to go play. Everton are always capable of putting in a really good performance. I mean, right now, Leicester City they're flying high. They are completely in form. They're the team to beat right now in the Barclays Premier League. Now, what does that truly say about the Premier League this year?
Ooh.
It's not a classic, Premier League season where you've got 3 teams that can be considered among European elite, and then you've got a mid-table that, can throw a dominant team out every week. I mean, so give Leicester all the credit in the world. They're doing it when they have the chance to do it. So, me, I've said to you, if Liverpool aren't doing it, I'll pull for Leicester.
Well, and the interesting thing is this was the period in the year, them having to go through United, Chelsea, the Everton. They're playing Liverpool this time.
That looked really daunting at one time, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And now they're just plowing through it. Is it time that we mentioned last week, they were 20-1 last week, I believe, to win the Premier League. Is it really time that now at this point, 17 matches into the Premier League season, we say, no, you know what? Leicester can totally win this title.
Should we get up with our bookie and throw some money on that before the odds change again?
We might need to.
I still find it hard to put them in as the favorite, but at this point, they're the best team in the Premier League. I'm gonna tell you the one team that keeps me from putting them as the odds-on favorite is just another one we'll talk about later. But the match we saw Monday night,
Yeah,
where Arsenal just
Yep.
dismantled Manchester City, and we know they can do it. That's the thing. Can Arsenal do it and put it together consistently?
We'll see. Other matches here from Saturday. Honestly, where were they when they were shit? That's what the fans at Stamford Bridge were asking their players on Saturday in a raucous win over Sunderland. It's the first match of the second post-Jose Mourinho era for Chelsea, and the Blues romped Sunderland at home. Bronislav Ivanovic headed in a corner, and Pedro put one in that fell right to him in the box to make it 2-0 Chelsea in just 13 minutes' time. Oscar took a Willian-earned penalty in the second half. Sunderland sub Fabio Barini, frequent Foreign Affair podcast mentioned by Wes, quickly got one back, but though the Black Cats pressed for two more, they got no further. As the match finished, Chelsea 3, Sunderland 1. Wes, I don't believe in all of American sport I can ever remember a sight as what happened at Stamford Bridge this past weekend. To basically see all the Chelsea supporters almost collectively giving the finger to the players out of all this respect and love for Jose Mourinho. I don't remember where players had their feet put to the fire more by a fan base after a manager was dismissed.
Well, especially in the modern day, you don't so much see fans anymore who are loyal to the manager.
Uh-huh.
They're loyal to the team, and usually that with it goes the players. Gone are the days where you have a coach or a manager who is entrenched long enough, or just really anyone who galvanizes a team quite as much as Jose Mourinho did. Here in the United States, off the top of your head, you think about a guy like maybe Mike Krzyzewski. If anything ever happened at Duke,
yeah,
the fans would boo the players before they ever boo Coach K. Dean Smith was the same way. If anything had ever happened at North Carolina, it wouldn't have been Dean Smith's fault.
Yeah.
It's not something that happens very often, but Jose Mourinho, for whatever anyone thinks about him, he has such a connection with those fans at Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Because, really, if you want to get to it, he brought them into prominence back in the mid-2000s.
Oh, absolutely.
And they've never forgotten it. And I think the fact that he came back to Chelsea, leaving Real Madrid and coming back, that was something that they really appreciated. And he just has such a connection that the fans love him. Add to that, the fact that, the guys who may have been the ones who got him the axe, the three rats, as the sign said. Those just aren't guys who are exactly beloved by Chelsea at this point. Eden Hazard is about as close as you'll get to it. Cesc Fabregas is seen as a guy who is, he's close enough to, being a mercenary.
Yes, I was just about to say.
He's not exactly a Chelsea guy. He's first and foremost an Arsenal guy and then a Barcelona guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Diego Costa, Costa had a great season, but Costa is not, I don't think he's ever going to be beloved enough by the Chelsea faithful just because he's such a blithering psychopath.
Yes.
So, when those three guys, they're the ones who, and don't forget also for Eden Hazard, he stunk this season.
Yeah, he hasn't been good.
That's the biggest sin against Hazard is he's not been good this year. So when those are the three guys who it's perceived got your coach fired, that's the thing. It's much easier for Chelsea fans to love Mourinho than to love those three guys. And the one that they would love, Hazard, all he's talking about is going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So,